Okay, you win today.
I lost my hat.
You got to wear that hat to your meeting later.
I do. I just got to just show up like this. All business. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. Like that. Yeah, no,
That
it's
that's the closer right there.
that right
Whatever
there
deal you're
says
working on.
that says business right there. I know someone walked by. I was running to get this hat, and then someone's like, "Howdy, sheriff." I was like, "Really?" So, yeah. I'll talk to Gina later about that one. That was funny. I was walking by and he's like, "Howdy, sheriff." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's the hat."
I
So,
don't have time to laugh.
not right now. I got 10 seconds to run back into the studio. Welcome, everybody, to Zia Comic Weekly, where we get to nerd out on a Thursday. It's been a while since we've been back on a Thursday.
Yeah, yeah, it has. Everything's been going on. Everything happens on Thursdays for some reason.
Don't know what's been happening, man. I mean, between all the stuff, I mean, you're busy. I'm busy. We've been running around. So I was like, oh, hey, look, it's on a Thursday. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
what is this?
I know. Wait, Thursdays? What you mean? Okay, what's happening here? I'm excited to, of course, nerd out for the next couple of next 30 minutes. What's going on with you, that guy?
Everything, man. Everything's
Oh,
happening. I can't get caught up.
there's not enough hours in the day to get caught up. So, yeah, we'll manage though. We always seem to manage. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just take a deep breath and we'll be good to go. I'm not gonna lie, I got winded running from my office here. I did like a dead sprint and then yeah, so catching my breath right now. So of course, a lot to get to, lot to talk about. El Paso anime. How have things been going with that?
Anime El Paso.
Anime El Paso, sorry.
There's
Just
another one that has got that name, but
yeah, Anime El Paso. There we go. We'll say it better.
it's good. We're just waiting. I mean, there's still booths available, so if any of you people are looking for a booth, they're still available. Um, all the guests are lined up. Hopefully, all the guests are going to show up. We got things in place. It's going to be different than a Comic Con too. Everybody was like, "Oh, is this just going to be another Comic Con with a few voice actors?" No, no, we're doing. There's going to be a maid cafe. There's going to be an idol show. We're going to have a ramen eating contest. Yeah, and the venue is actually theming all the concessions toward Japanese style foods. So
That's awesome.
yeah, hopefully it's gonna come off really well. Because I'd like to do it again. So I mean, it's got to be successful.
Troy, I was gonna mention to you that I think you're onto something because I mean, yes, these are happening more and more, but is this gonna be the next thing that just kind of pops for everybody? Because right now, with the Comic Cons, we've seen a lot of this. Is anime gonna be the next thing that just really explodes on the scene that get a lot of people like, man, I need to just the same way that they would go to a Comic Con, they need to go to a convention with anime.
Well, anime is already huge.
Yeah.
It's crazy how over the past few years it's just blown up. And yeah, I mean the voice actors, people really connect with these characters. So when you bring those voice actors in and they get to actually see them face it, and the big thing right now, I mean, let's face it, is getting your Funko Pop signed.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, and we're going to have JSA there so they can certify it, authenticate it once it gets
So
signed.
yeah, I learned a little bit about something like that. I was trying to buy something. I was like, "Hold on, wait, is it authentic?" Because just because it says it, it may not be. So I
Yeah,
had to make sure you get the right certifications and everything.
that certificate's only as good as the person who wrote it.
Yeah.
And
So you're like,
JSA
"Oh,
is an authority, so that's a pretty safe bet. And they always run a $10 con special, and you can bring stuff from outside too that you got signed at other places, and they
so
will get it authenticated. I had one I got authenticated. I got it at a couple cons earlier, and it took them a while to find the guy. I mean, because they actually go and they search the databases and they try to find out who it is and match the autograph up. So they're pretty legit.
man, heck of a job to be able to do that, to go in to look and see if this is legit, if it's real. Can you confirm that this is really their signature and not just some print that may not necessarily be their signature?"
Yeah, yeah. They like I said, they have their little methods, and they go in. You get that little sticker on there with the certificate number. So if anybody ever doubted you, you can just say, "Hey, here's my JSA certificate," and you can look it up. right there in their database. It tells you exactly what it is.
You know, I tell you, it seems I mean, I know most people are like, "Well, who gets autographs these days?" I've noticed that autographs are still quite popular. Everybody wants the selfie, of course, but
Yeah.
autographs and like you said, having making sure that you can prove that it's legit, I think that is always a neat thing to have, a neat aspect to have.
Yeah, even if you're not going to resell it, it ends a lot of arguments. It's like, oh, you didn't get that signed by him. Well, JSA says I did. Look at that. Look at that.
You know what though? I got and I'm not trying to like be the grumpy old guy, but seeing some videos on TikTok. So there's a wrestler by the name of Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
He actually had to put I don't know if you saw this video. He had to put a stop to some people that had cornered him at an airport where they had like 16 Funko Pops and they were trying to get him to sign them. And it's like, dude, like, first of all, like, yo, if you're trying to get it for yourself, and he told them, he was like, you guys want me to sign this just so you can go and sell them online. So I'll sign one if you're a fan, but if you're doing this just so that way you can make a quick buck, like that kind of ruins it because then when you want to have an
Mhm.
interaction with someone like that, whether it's a voice actor, whether it's someone at a con, like you kind of ruin it that way just by showing up to say, I need you to sign these things so I can make a quick buck.
Yeah, the flippers are really really ruining it for a lot of people when they come in and they have like a rolling suitcase full of stuff that they want to get signed. Or
Yeah.
I've seen them with wagons. I was like, man, you're just really obvious about it. It puts off the guy doing the autographs because he knows you're just making a buck off of his autograph, which is why they charge in the first place.
Yeah. So,
Um,
which is cool though, because it's like I just think about all that time that you're having him there signing stuff. You could have been having an interaction with that person when they signed your item. And most of the times when you go to these places, they'll like, hey, they'll carry a conversation with you, and it's pretty cool. But instead, it's now turned into a business transaction. And now you're like, well, there went your time.
Yeah, it's the same thing as when somebody, famous dies, and then all of a sudden you see the market flooded with their autographs and stuff
Oh,
of people
yeah.
trying to capitalize on it. I mean, you guys are vultures.
Right? It's like, come on, man. It's like it's not even a true it turns out to be a hoax, and people are already seeing how much they could sell it for. It's just it's crazy, man. I don't know. That was just really that was unfortunate that, these celebrities and then they wanna make the celebrity to be the bad guy, like, "Oh, he didn't wanna sign our things." Well, you were trying to make a dollar off of it, man. He was
Yeah,
just walking through an airport.
it's not sign your thing. You had things,
Right? There's a difference in that, people. You can't do that. Like, come on, don't ruin it for the rest of us.
but they
So,
do. Every con you'll see it.
yeah.
And it does. It puts a damper on it for everybody. So
Yeah, it really does. So, but I don't know, man. Maybe eventually people will be like, "Hey, enjoy the moment, get your auto." Because I don't know about you, especially when the time you put into getting something signed, you want to be able to display that. Be like, "Hey, man, look at what I got!" Like it's cool.
yeah, well, and that's the other thing too. You cornered him at an airport. He was not at an event where he was there to sign stuff. He was
Yeah,
traveling.
yeah,
I've seen people corner they try to corner these guys in the restroom, which
yeah.
is why I'm glad El Paso has private restrooms up on the second floor with the green room, so they can go up there without somebody fanboying on them next to the urinal.
Yeah, well, I remember you telling the story about running into somebody in a restroom at a San Diego
I did.
Comic Con. Like, how weird would that be though if you would have like while you guys are like literally in the restroom to use the restroom, you just broke out a suitcase of stuff. Say, hey man, you can go in and sign this really quick, but wash your hands first.
It did. I've seen them. There's stories online of people reaching under the stall, trying to hand stuff to us. Hey, can you sign this? Can you sign? I'm like, come
Oh,
on, man. First of
that
all,
just
now it's
calls
tainted.
that calls for loads of therapy though, because if I ever use a restroom and all of a sudden I see hands at a public restroom just reaching, I'd be freaking out.
Holding a Funko Pop that looks like you. Hey, can you sign this?
It's like, well, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. If they did that, I'd be like, wow, you really are a Big Show fan. Okay. The fact that you found me at a restroom at an Applebee's in town, it's a little weird, but okay.
Uh,
Oh man, but I don't know, man. It's exciting. I gotta say, man, I have a whole new level of respect for these voice actors from the Las Cruces Comic Con, and just seeing them in action. It's amazing, just the work that they do, and a lot of voices. Some people think, oh, they just got the one voice. Nah, man, a lot of these voice actors have multiple voices.
yeah, across animes, and a lot of them are getting into the video game voiceovers now.
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely a money to be made. Just be on the lookout for that Joey and Troy video game one day. So I'm sure we
Yeah,
can
it's
make
not an
some money.
action game. It's just kind of
I was like, "Oh, hey, they made bonus points for sitting on the couch."
Sitting on the couch and eating.
Oh, that Joey character is going back to the refrigerator. That's another bonus points. That's the secret, the secret level that you gotta play. So, how to build a sandwich.
The
Oh,
perfect sandwich.
oh, dude, that's perfect. So, there's a lot to get to, just the headlines, man. There's been a lot going on. I haven't gotten a chance to see Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's still in the theater, and I'm trying to avoid theater still.
Yeah, I'm staying off of, kinda laying back off of TikTok because there definitely has been a lot of, spoilers and what's next for the Guardians, so I'm definitely staying away.
I haven't been spoiled yet. I'm hoping it
Yeah.
stays that way.
Thank you to the people that say, "Hey, you have 3 seconds to swipe this video before you get a spoiler," and
Swipe.
yeah, it's like, "Nope, not doing this." But, excited to see, made 100 and I believe 119,000,000 opening weekend.
Not too
Seen a
shabby.
lot of stories of James Gunn, really kind of putting his all into this, and I think some surprises too. Guardians was put together by James Gunn and not Marvel. This is all a James Gunn project,
Mhm.
which is great to see that, man, James Gunn, he knew what he was doing, and DC's in good hands moving forward.
Yeah, I'm just glad Marvel let him finish it out because, he had the vision. He knew where he was going with it, and it must have worked because every one of the Marvel Guardians movies did well.
Yeah, and he definitely has made some stars in the process. I mean, Dave Batista, who would have thought at the end of all this, Dave Batista be walking out an even bigger star from Guardians of the Galaxy. Man, he's just amazing. I mean, he is going to be, I think he is the one next year to be on the lookout for. He's had a nice run with movies right now, but I mean, there's going to be just movies and franchises that go above of what he even expected.
I'm waiting for him to do a sequel to that zombie one that came out during COVID. Uh,
Yeah.
what was it in
That,
Vegas? Yeah, I
oh, what's it
actually
called?
enjoyed that one.
It was good. It was
Yeah,
really good, and it's just his character. I mean, I really think he did pretty well for a that style of movie. I thought it was gonna be one of those gory guts, and no, it had its level of sarcasm, it had its action. Yes, there was some blood, but it was good.
anytime you got Tig Notaro in anything, you're going to have a little bit of comedy.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I mean, that Chris Pratt, I mean, megastar. I mean, I'm excited to see what they do in the future outside of just Marvel projects. I mean, I'm sure there'll be other things that they do, but yeah, it's just crazy to think that this is the last one.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how many of those guys from Guardians jump over to DC because Karen
Mm.
Gillian's already talking about she wants to be Poison Ivy.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. So, I mean, and being in James Gunn's, you know, a part of his team, I mean, you can't go wrong. And he would create this character to make sure it fits perfectly for what's going to be on screen. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens with DC. I mean, I think DC's got a lot to look forward to, and will Marvel, we'll see what happens moving forward.
Well, James Gunn likes to take some of the more obscure characters too and push them to the forefront. So you might not see the DC characters you think you're going to see coming
Mhm.
up.
Yeah, and I also wonder to what extent is he basing off of comic books as well? I wonder how much of a reference point is he, going back and saying, "Okay, we need to make sure we add this element." I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be those little hints in this upcoming Guardians movie. Like I said, we haven't seen it yet, so for those that have seen it, like, "Oh, they did this." No spoilers, okay? Um, but I'm sure moving forward into the DC universe, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of little mentions and things that comic book fans will enjoy.
As long as they bring the detachable kid back from Suicide Squad.
Oh, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I saw a screenshot though. There's somebody from Suicide Squad that was in Guardians. So I'm not gonna say who, but you'll just have to watch. So
Yeah,
yeah,
not all those guys died. So
yeah.
detachable kid's still alive and Weasel's still alive.
Yeah, so y'all have to go watch those. We'll leave that up for you guys. Sticking on the Marvel universe side of things, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which
Mm.
I think will be a big surprise for a lot of fans. The first one, I think exceeded, I mean, it blew expectations out of the water. I think a lot of people were surprised just by that style of cartoon. I think it was great.
Yeah, it was the way they did it was very reminiscent of what they look like on the printed page, but in movie format. and I don't think there's any gray area. Either you liked it or you hated it, and
Yeah.
I loved it.
I mean, it was everything that, for those especially that are like, "Well, why didn't you do this to the Spider-Man, or why didn't you do this?" I think you can do that on this anime side of things, and it was great, and also bringing in the different Spider-Mans, into the universe in this different way. Looking at this upcoming movie, I saw that there's gonna be a total of 240 Spider-Men in
Hmm.
this movie.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if they're just popping them out there to gauge the popularity of them to see if they can do a movie off of that character. Because Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, a very popular character for comic book readers. The mainstream people probably don't know of him, but now they're going to be introduced to him. So I'm holding out for a movie.
And you're right, because if they can see the popularity, because I'm still wondering, I'm waiting to see when Miles Morales will transition to the live action. There's gotta eventually be a time when they bring that character in, and like you said with this other Spider-Man, is it gonna gain enough popularity to say, "Hey, we need to add this one to the live action movies?"
You've already seen Miles's uncle in the live action movies, who ends up becoming the Prowler in the comic
Yeah,
books. So I think Donald Glover, or yeah, I think he's the one who played. I can't remember
yeah.
his actual name, but yeah, he played the uncle there in like a little quick scene. So they kind of opened the door. Let's see if they walks through.
Well, let's see what happens. I did notice that Spider Pig isn't on there. So I don't know what
Spider
reason why
Ham,
Spider-Ham, I was gonna say Spider Pig, I that Simpsons, not
Spider Pig is Simpsons.
Simpsons. Spider-Ham is yes. The guy who voices, Spider-Ham, I know he's been off the rails for a bit, so I don't see him back in
Yeah,
this movie, unless he does a quick cameo, who knows?
yeah. I mean, like you said, 200 some different versions of Spider Man. That's a lot of Spider-Mans all
Spider-Man,
running.
one of them has to work, and they're like, "Okay, you know what? They like this one, we're gonna go ahead and use this one." I don't know, man. It's one of those movies that I think a lot of people get so fixated on the live action style of Marvel that I think people need to recognize this one too, because this is a good movie, man, and I think it has the making to be a really good franchise. And tying that what if style, I think you can even do a lot more in the animated side of things, and you can also attract a lot more fans to the movies, not just the grown-ups like you and I, but maybe even the younger generation to go watch some Marvel movies.
Yeah, and you can do so much more with the characters animated. Also, you don't have the limitations of live people. You know, in
Yeah,
a cartoon, I can make a guy do anything as long as you can draw it. He can do it.
exactly, and let's be honest, a lot of us are getting older, so how much more can we have some of our favorite superheroes still do these movies, like, as much as we wanna see Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. do these movies, it's eventually gonna get to a point where it's like, I don't think they can do these movies forever."
Yeah, even they talk about the taxing that it takes on their body
Mhm.
just to stay in that shape. Because I mean, Chris Evans is not naturally huge like that. I mean, I just saw him on Ghosted, I think, or Ghost. I think it was on Apple TV or something. And you can tell he hasn't been doing the Captain America workout because he looks like a normal sized guy.
No, I mean, and it's just I mean, it's gonna be interesting just to see where they go. I mean, I'd like to see some of these guys come back, but you're right, doing voice work would be good. By the way, I remember you mentioning this Apple TV show, the one with Chris Evans.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting because Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, and I might be able to get my hands on a 3-month membership. So I don't
And they're
know. We'll
giving them
see.
away like candy.
I
So
know. So I'm like waiting. I'm like, okay, who got their hands on that 3-month membership for that for those free 3 months, so that way I can catch up on my Apple TV Plus.
yeah, definitely watch that one and watch Severance. Was it Severance? And Ted Lasso. I kept seeing the hype about Ted Lasso, and I'm like, whatever. I burned through the first two seasons like that. It's so good.
Yeah, that's one that I need to watch, because 'cause you're right, there's, like I don't know what it is, like, there's always, like, this hype that you see, and you're like, "Okay, is it worth it?" Because that's how I was for a second with, Pedro Pascal's, show on HBO. Because I was like, "Okay, what is going on that every Sunday, everyone is talking about this show?" And I was like, "Okay." So then when you watch it, you're like, "Oh, man, it is worth the hype." So and I've
Yeah,
heard that about Ted Lasso too, so
yeah. It really is. I can't. suggest that one enough. It's really good. Jason Sudeikis is perfect for that role.
Yeah, I mean, there's just always that role that they find that you're like, I would have never thought that you'd be playing in a soccer movie of all things, and for a franchise to be about soccer. I mean, it's crazy.
It's not really centered on soccer though. It's just like Walking Dead isn't really about zombies. It's just zombies are the background, and with Ted Lasso, soccer is the background.
Oh man. So some shows that obviously are getting delayed. The writer strike has been going on, and so
Oof.
there's quite a bit of shows. One that really stands out to a lot of folks, well, actually two, especially us here on this show. Cobra Kai is being delayed.
Oh my
So I
heart.
know, especially because it's their final season, man. And it's like, come on. And then Stranger Things. It looks like Stranger Things is going to see a delay. And if you guys recall, we're supposed to get the final season next year, early next year. So
Ugh.
I don't think that's happening either.
Yeah, Stranger Things. They need to hurry up. Those kids are adults now. A
Yeah.
couple of them are married.
To come with that, their own kids, their kids can now be in the movie. And it was reported that they had approached Millie Bobby Brown to do an animated version of Stranger Things, and she turned it down. She said that she just wants to finish up with this live action. But I like how you mentioned earlier about how them taking a different approach to shows. These characters are getting they're not kids anymore, man. They started off as little kids and now they're grown adults.
Yeah, I mean, especially I can't remember the black kid. Man, he grew like 3 feet between seasons.
I know, and it's like he shot up, and you're just like, and I can only imagine when they finally. I mean, they have to obviously change the approach to Stranger Things, the final season, whether they go so many years into the future, maybe they even go into the 90s when they're adults now. But I don't know, man.
I would be on board for that. Revisit the city there where they grew up and
Yeah,
have the whole upside down open up again,
yeah. I mean, it'd be
kind of
it'd
like
be
it.
See, look, we're kind of pushing the show forward. So, writers, whenever you're done striking, we've already thrown some ideas out there for you. But yeah, it's definitely causing a lot of delays, and there's also talks about some of our favorite movies being delayed as well. So, don't know what this means for the Marvel and the DC universe and some of the other action movies that you're looking forward to, but it also could mean there should be some more delays because of the writer strike. One movie that was very shocked to see that's getting a sequel, Beetlejuice is getting a sequel.
I've been seeing that, and I'm not against it.
So it's gonna be in theaters September 6th, 2024. Michael Keaton, man, Michael Keaton's getting ready to make a major comeback, isn't he?
Oh, he's going to be he's the next Pedro Pascal. He's going
He really is.
because he's already been popular. Then he kind of went away. Now he's coming back. So
I mean, he was just like, "Let me take a break and now let me catch back up." So, obviously, he's gonna be in the upcoming, Flash movie. So Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and now they're adding Jenny Ortega, to the cast for Beetlejuice 2. Don't know to what, how they're gonna approach it, but yeah, Jenny Ortega will be joining the cast. You guys might know her from Wednesday in the Wednesday Addams show. So,
yeah,
yeah.
the title character.
Yeah, so Justin Theroux, it has been attached to this project as well in an unannounced role is what they're saying.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. I guess Beetlejuice is timeless. So uh, you can bring him back in any number of ways. But did you ever watch the Beetlejuice cartoon?
yeah, oh man,
It was a great
it was
cartoon,
it was
completely different
really
from
good.
the show, though.
It was really good. It was very comical, and it's like you said, yeah, it is different from, but it was good, man. I liked the cartoon.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I expect to see a lot more Beetlejuice costumes on Halloween.
yeah, so there you go. We're already getting ahead of what's gonna be the popular one this year. So Beetlejuice. And then we got to we oh man, I saw this morning. We were talking about it on the show. Hulu and Disney Plus. They're getting ready to make a move to merge onto one platform. So they say by the end of the year, Hulu and Disney Plus will
Hmm.
be all on one. You won't have a separate app. It's gonna all just be on one service.
And what? I mean, I guess Disney probably bought them, but what's the platform when we call it? Are they going to Hulu's
I
or
I
Disney's?
think it's gonna all go to Hulu. So if you're gonna so basically you're gonna have to buy Hulu in
To
order to
get
get
Disney
Disney
Plus.
Plus.
I
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Hulu's, platform layout, but and the only reason I have Hulu is because it came with Disney Plus.
You did the same thing I did, huh? You were like,
Yeah,
"Oh, well, I get that bundle deal, so I'll just do
yeah.
that."
Well, it comes with ESPN too. I don't care about that.
Yeah, I have the ESPN Plus too, and I've noticed I don't watch it as much as I thought I would.
I don't think I've watched it at all.
Yeah, but, looks like and I think a lot of this is in response to what HBO is about to do. Obviously, they're dropping the HBO part, calling it just straight Max, which debuts in 2 weeks. So, I don't know, just a lot of these streaming services, and who knows if the strike has something to do with this, but Hulu and Disney Plus are gonna be merging into just one platform, which, well, we'll see. And I was thinking the other way, but I didn't realize, yeah, Disney's the one with the money, so Disney probably just said, "Hey, we're just gonna just put it all on one platform."
Yeah, Hulu's got the live TV though. That's the big reason why we got them. And the Disney Plus was the cherry on top, the little kicker.
Yeah. But let's be honest, man, at this point, how much are we paying in streaming services compared to when you had just basic cable?
I predicted this way back when they started it. I said eventually it's just going to be a la carte. You're going to pick your shit, and eventually what it's going to go to is it's not even going to be platforms. You're just going to pick the specific shows you want to subscribe to.
I would be okay with that
Oh
because
yeah,
let's be honest, there's a lot of channels on Hulu that I do not watch.
most of them,
Yeah, you're right, most of them, because 'cause I'm just kinda like, "Okay, when am I ever gonna watch, what is it, fly fishing?" Like,
or golf.
go right? Like, I was like, "Okay, I'm not unless it's on a local channel, I'm not really watching for it." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, you
So,
get 3,000 live channels, dude. I watch four.
you want 6,000? You can pay 10 more bucks and get Hulu Plus. Like, "Oh, no, I ain't doing all this." So, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens at the end of the year, but I think this is all in response to what HBO Max is doing. But you notice that Netflix never reacts. Netflix just stays like, "Hey, we'll just increase our prices," but you'll keep coming back to Netflix.
They've got a stranglehold on the streaming right now, and they make just enough original series to keep people coming back.
Yeah,
Because look, Stranger Things, everybody's gonna come running back for Stranger Things.
at Cobra Kai, same thing. One thing I have noticed though, there's been some movies that just did not do so well, especially between 2010 and 2019. That they came out, they probably didn't get a lot of people because there was probably a Marvel movie that came out and it just blew it out of the water. But then you start to see popularity in these movies now on Netflix. Because if you ever look at your top 10 on Netflix, you see that it's like movies that like, man, I remember that was in the theaters. Like no one
Yeah.
really cared to watch it, but it's like number 4 of the most viewed on Netflix. And it gains popularity through streaming rather than what it did at the box office.
Yeah, I did notice every once in a while what do you I said, is that a remake or is that the original?
Yeah, you're like, "Okay, I guess I'm watching this." Man, I got started watching Barber Shop. I don't even know why. I was like, "Okay." I didn't even really watch this when it was in out like that, but it's on Netflix, so I guess we're watching Ice Cube
You
be
gotta
a
watch it now.
barber. I might as well. I mean, it's there, so I thank you, Netflix. Yeah, you're right, man. Netflix does have a hold on everybody when it comes to streaming, and notice that if you ever ask anybody which one would you cut, no one ever says Netflix.
No, I think that would probably be one of the last ones I cut.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still back and forth about if I wanna cut, the max, I guess that's what we'll call it now. Because I mean, I really there's nothing else that's coming out, and, I mean, we're not getting a Peacemaker season anytime soon, and The Last of Us just wrapped, and it's gonna be a while when that show comes out.
And House of Dragons is still in pre-production, so
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot going on that,
you
well,
cut that one for a couple months.
that one might be the one that gets cut for a couple of months until we'll see, and then maybe I'll convince someone to find a 3-month free subscription, and we can just borrow their password.
They're out
So
there.
I mean, you'll find if you look hard enough, you definitely will find them. Before we go, what's been going on at Zia Comics? Anything new? What's been happening at Alamogordo?
Well, we just finished Free Comic Book Day, May 6th. That was pretty successful. Alamogordo, we've been boxing up a bunch of inventory to take over, and the manager is going to be borrowing my truck here next week and start taking all that stuff over there. And we're hoping, late June, early July, we'll be open
Okay.
over there.
Nice, nice. Can't believe, man, we're getting closer and closer.
It's been a long time coming.
It definitely has. I need to go back to previous episodes just to see because
You're going to have
you've
to
seen
dig deep.
there's been smiles and there's been sadness.
Yeah, mostly the latter.
Yes, but hey, it's almost there and it's exciting getting closer and closer for that. Anything else coming up at Zia Comics? We're getting ready to get into summer, so I'm sure a lot of folks will be looking for some good reading material and things to do this summer.
Well, there's always good books coming out every Wednesday, new comic book day. If you're looking for something to do during the summer, you don't want to you want more interaction instead of video game stuff. Pick up a board game or a card game, man. And if
Yeah.
you're not sure what you want, come in on Saturday between 5 and 9 p.m. and our dude will teach you pretty much how to play anything we have in stock, and you can see if you like it before you spend your money on it.
That's cool.
So yeah.
That's perfect. So yeah, man, go check them out. Make sure you guys go and visit Zia Comics, and of course, you guys always have a lot going on, and it's cool, man. This feels just right doing this on a Thursday again. It just I feel at home. I really do.
Settling back into that slot.
I mean, yeah, think about it, man. There was one episode that you were in a lobby of a hotel.
Yep.
I mean, I almost had to do one from a truck
Loves
stop.
truck stop.
You see? And so it just felt nice to finally settle in. I'm like, "Okay, this feels comfortable.
This fits. We're gonna
We're
keep
just
this.
we're gonna stay just like this."
We're gonna wear this
And
out of
then,
the store.
you know what? And someone called me out, by the way, and I can't believe I did this last week for May the 4th. How did I not wear this shirt?
I don't know.
I c I someone's like, "Don't you have a Star Wars shirt?" I was like, "No," and then today when I'm like, "Oh, man,
I
come on."
lied.
I did have one. I was like, "Here I am," like, "I need to look business professional." I had a Star Wars shirt. I could have wore this last week. So,
May 4th, I dressed up as Darth Vader, so I
see,
think I'm set.
you were prepared. I apparently wasn't even thinking. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. I'll find something." No, but I decided to celebrate a week later. So, here I am. Guys, if they wanna keep up with you, how can they keep up with you on the social?
We're all over interwebs. I have to use my hands so I keep track. We got the YouTube, we got Meta, we got the Insta, we got Twitter, and TikTok.
That's right. And me, you guys can find me on AI chat. I was just kidding. I don't know. No, no, I don't even know. I don't even wanna download that app. That scares me. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, no, it's gonna be a fake Joey here next week doing this. So, you can find me on Facebook, or AKA Meta, Hot Three's Big Show, Instagram, Joey FM, Joey on the FM, and on TikTok, you can find me there as well, Joey on the FM as well. And you can be one of my 144 followers. So,
The
yeah.
few and the proud.
The few and the proud, that's all we need is 104. It's an exclusive club, y'all should come join.
We don't let just anybody join.
No,
No,
nobody,
we
not
do. We
not at all.
really do.
Please just follow us, we appreciate it. Guys, this has been another edition of Zia Comic Weekly, we'll see y'all next week.
Later, nerds.